we're living in a very strange age. We're living in a world where technology is rapidly changing. And it's, as somebody who's been covering the technology industry since we switched from the horse-drawn carriage to the internal combustion engine, and I'm sure many of you remember that great seismic change that happened. It's never been more exciting now than it is now. I mean, it's really, really amazing what is going on. So you've got to think about, you are living right now, all of you, all of us, we're alive today. This is the most exciting time in technology that has ever been, okay? Prior to this, we were crawling on the bottom of the ocean. But right now is the most exciting time, okay? So don't forget that. Don't lose this opportunity you have today to become entrepreneurs, to change the future for the better. So you have to think about that. Let's think about what we're actually talking about here. We've got huge amounts of interconnectedness. The amount of data that's coming out of the world is enormous. And the creation of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, data, that coming together is producing enormous amounts of data, which is turning into the kind of thing that we can mine to create the future. And it's all happening in real time. Don't know if the organisers are here, but can I get the slides up on the front, please, guys? Can I get the slides up on the front so I can see them? That'd be really useful. So, sorry. I don't know if this is... Have you got this on? I need to switch it, so it seems to be moving in real time. So the data volumes are going up, we've established that. 44 times more data since 2009. And that means that there's increasing amounts of intelligence, increasing amounts of capability to create decision-making in real time. If you think about what happened many years ago, the Cray computer that fitted in a room cost $35,000, 1.9 gigaflops, and incredibly fast for its era, but huge. I mean, you can't carry that around, can you? Not so easy. Here, you can now carry that around. So you're walking around with a Cray computer in your pocket, and what's happening now is that on your wrist, you now have almost a Cray on your wrist. About half a Cray. Half a Cray 2 on your wrist. And that 25 years ago, 30 years ago, that fitted in a room, right? So that is absolutely transformation, isn't it? So why is this happening now? Well, data, machine learning is creating a huge advantage to leverage AI. If you're in a startup right now, your ability to leverage the huge amount of data that's coming out of people's apps, phones, has never been greater. 25 years ago, New York Times said it's going to be impossible to play Go. You know, it's going to take a long time to play AlphaGo, the Chinese sort of version of chess, much more complex than chess. Everyone thought it would be incredibly difficult to actually create a machine which could beat a human player. And yet, in 2016, DeepMind's AlphaGo program won against the human, the best humans in the world. That was only 19 years later. So it's already happening much, much faster than we realize. Tesla, it's already driven billions of miles more than many humans, of course, than probably practically most of the planet. And it's better at driving than you are as a human being. Car crash estimates in autonomous vehicles estimated at 1/3 of those in normal vehicles. 1/3. It's 2/3 better than you are. Definitely 2/3 better than me. But the thing is that specialized artificial intelligence tends to be specialized. It's good at some things, but not everything, right? This is the robot from Boston Dynamics, and they're trying to make it walk around, walk upstairs, put things in a dishwasher, try and do things, many things several times, several things at several moments. And it's very, very hard. But you, just a human being, can talk to your friend, talk on your phone, fill the dishwasher, book an Uber cab, walk out the door, all at the same time. Computers can't do that. They're not very good at that. But what they are good at is specific things. All of this stuff is tough for computers. It's complex, right? Especially doing all at the same time. And also, they can't get remote. They can't handle unprecedented situations. They need data. You know, you have to give them data to understand. And they can't yet feel, or at least we don't think they can feel. Perhaps one day we might prod them with a stick and ask them if it hurt. Right? But, so narrow domains, they can exceed human capability. If you look at detection errors in recognizing photographs of plummeting, they're already better than humans. They passed humans in 2050 for detecting errors in a photograph. They're better at us than video games. Sorry, wargaming. The AI is already better at the tank game. Sorry. Sorry, Jamie, wherever you are. And the exponential effect of this is that by about, if you look there, about 2060, we're all surpassed. We don't need you anymore. We'll have artificial intelligence. I think you'll probably be around. Me, I'm not sure. We'll see how tonight goes, shall we? But by 2060, it's basically better than the whole of the human race. Good, we're trying to fix this machine here. But if you take out your phone and look at it, lovingly caress it, kiss it, perhaps, tell it you love it. You are walking around with AI in your pocket because it already has a neural network inside it. A neural network which does clever little things. So when your friend says, do you want to meet next week on Tuesday at 1 p.m, those little words are underlined because there's a tiny little AI neural network inside the phone going, oh, I recognize those words. That means they want to meet next week, Tuesday, at 1 p.m. Underline them, and let's create a link to the calendar. Go, boys, let's go! That's what's happening. Little men inside your phone. It's a neural network creating the capability to do that. That means you, as entrepreneurs, as startups, means that you can play at the highest levels. Because when ordinary people are walking around with a Cray computer, a computer that's more powerful that can send the men to the moon, then you as a startup can leverage that to become successful with your company, right? You've given the consumer the ability to create data for your company to leverage AI. Very powerful. It means that Patrick from IBM doesn't have all of the answers anymore. Sorry, sir. The startups have as much power as any big company out there because they can leverage the power inside the smartphone. So, that means that AI has led to an explosion. Over 900 startups are using AI in Crunchbase, which is the sister database which TechCrunch created. Have a look at this. Between 2011 and 2016, venture capital investment increased 6 times into artificial intelligence startups. If you look there, 2014, there was a massive boom of investment into AI startups. While we were all wondering about Facebook and Twitter, venture capitalists were investing heavily into AI companies. And that went again bigger and bigger and bigger in 2015, 2016, etc. But what does that do? Well, it creates a lock-in, because a company that leverages AI, whether it be a startup or a big company, gets locked into the AI ecosystem. AI makes better products, which leads to more data, which improves the AI, which makes more profit, which is pumped into the AI to make it better, and that makes better products again. You are locked in. There's no escape, ladies and gentlemen. No escape. It's coming. So, we have weaponized AI. We've turned it into something you cannot ignore. You can't ignore it. It's happened. Pandora is out of the box, if you know your Greek history. But remember what was in the bottom of the box when all of the world's evil had left Pandora's box. What was left in the bottom? Does anyone know? Hope. That was in the bottom of the box. Go back and read your Greek history. So it's become both the user interface and the underlying engine. Okay? What does that look like? Well, we already know. It looks like this. It looks like this, or it looks like Siri in your pocket. It's both the interface and the platform now. But what does that mean? That has all sorts of interesting possibilities for you as an entrepreneur when you are creating your startup. What are you going to do with that? That's fascinating, isn't it? To think about what we can do. Because consumers now can both see and hear the user interface. And if that means that, then if you own the interface with the consumer, you own the user. You own the user if you own the interface with which they interact. Right? Think about that. What does Uber own? What does Uber own? Does it own the cars? No. Does it own the roads? No. Does it own you? Yes. Why? Because it owns the interface. It owns the platform to the user. You own the interface, you own the user, and that's what makes you valuable as a startup, valuable as an entrepreneur. Now, AI is getting really, really good. It can now recognize whether or not you're happy or sad. There's a project by MIT. If you smiled at the screen, it would give you a sweet. There's a vision for the future, is it not? A sweet. It'll get better. How are those trousers, sir? Are you feeling well? How's that dress, madam? Is it well? Does it fit you well? Do you enjoy it in the summer? So, what's some of the first earliest implementations of AI? A little chatbot. Yeah, little chatbots. Hello, how are you? Can I help you today? And that's turning into very interesting startups. Clio is a startup out of the UK, which is an AI assistant for your money. It's going to help you with your money. And that's turning into others. Plum, Chip, Clio, cute little names, huh? Little Chip. I'm just going to check my Chip. I'm just going to check my Clio and see what my bank balance is. Clio, how much have I got in my bank account? You're running low, sir. That was an expensive trip to the bar last night. Oh, thanks, Clio. Can I get an overdraft on my bank account? Yes, we can extend you a $500 account. Thank you. Lola, can you help me book an appointment? Yes, sir. Where would you like to go? I need to go to Minsk next week. I left my bag there in the bar. Don't worry, it'll be a very cheap flight. Digit, $36 million. That's how much they raised in venture capital for their chatbot, which will manage your money. And remember what I said before, they own the interface to the user. That means they own you. That's what makes them valuable to venture capitalists. So once it's turning into lots of things, AI, 3D printing, rapid prototyping, means you could create a faster startup and faster new brand. And that's when you hold the 44 Magnum. Should do this, shall we? You hold the 44 Magnum to the head of the biggest banks in the world and say, do you feel lucky, punk? Do you feel lucky? Did I get off 5 shots or 6? What do you think? That's what happens when you own the user. Now, anything you could share is Uberized or Airbnb'd. There's a company that's doing that in London. This is just somebody's room, which they've rented out on a startup called Vroomy. They've raised 1.6. Recharge does the same. Breather in New York does the same for $69 million in venture capital. Here are a couple of twins. This is supposed to be a video, sorry, but you're going to have to imagine it. Musically, sing little songs, very, very fun, very cool, all driven by AI. Lisa and Lena, who needs X Factor? Who needs American Idol? You've got Musically raised $16 million. Retail drones. They need hyper-accuracy. We heard earlier how important drones are going to be in the future. What do they need? They need AI to make sure that they are accurate, to deliver their packages in their autonomous vehicles. A company called What Three Words has raised $13 million to do exactly that, to do hyper-targeted mapping with their AI. And then sort of the next generation analytics. This little camera will check as you walk around, as you walk into the store, it'll check whether or not you're a boy or a girl, or I'm not sure what all the alternatives there are. Perhaps you might be a horse, and they'll check you and they'll work out the footfall to the store and give you detailed analytics. They've raised that amount in the UK, Horton Analytics. What are the implications? Well, AI is going to be able to anticipate your moves through pattern recognition. The more patterns you make, the more data you make, the more it can anticipate what you do next. Mike, I know you're leaving the Minsk Venture Day and you've got to go to a lunch. I know you'll be doing that in an hour. We'll call you an Uber. Mike, I realise tomorrow that you need to get up early for your flight. We'll make sure that you have a taxi waiting, that kind of thing. And also from a physical to a virtual one, it means that you can project yourself virtually. You can create a better life for yourself by being able to see around corners effectively. But all this surveillance means that you can do things like pre-crime. Remember Minority Report? You can tell somebody's acting fidgety, sweating a little bit too much. You can tell if they're maybe walking around with a heavy load in a strange place, because they can recognize those patterns. That's Minority Report, and that's coming true now. And it means also that consumer brands, retailers can anticipate your behavior better than you know yourself. But there are bigger implications. Jobs will go. Major functions, even of middle classes, of educated professionals, will start to disappear. Because if you can be analysed by AI, if your AI lawyer can tell you that your contract needs signing, if your accountant is replaced by AI, then they have problems. Low-skilled workers are at risk. We need to retrain people for the future. Even journalists, ladies and gentlemen, even the creative powerhouses of journalists like myself, we may also disappear. There you go. Mind you, I'm excited for the fact that I probably can't be beaten by a robot in a bar. And that's hopefully true. And so what that means, if you can invade a market with AI, computing power, and use your interface. But, Mike, I don't care. I don't care. I just want to get a date. Who's out there? Who's out there waiting for me? Who's out there waiting for you? Well, darlings, AI is waiting for you. It's waiting to embrace you. Because it's going to help you. It knows you better than you know yourself. Your data, your Spotify playlist, is your next date, ladies and gentlemen. A research predicted the attraction on Tinder with 68% accuracy using AI. It's better than you are working out who you like. Sorry. Tinderbox chatbot selects profiles, starts chatting to them before you're even out of bed. How would that work? It's going to give you lots of options, ladies and gentlemen. But also, I want to leave you with this idea. The computer vision enhances your perception. It's your third eye. Computer vision driven by AI is going to give you kind of superpowers. What does that mean? I think it's the next wave. We've seen what AI can do with our money, chatbots. We can see what Alexa is going to be able to do with ordering and just running our lives, Siri, etc. What happens when you put it into computer vision, into this thing, perhaps that you walk around with? What does that look like? What do you think Snap is building? Do you think Snap is building a camera company? No, of course not. It's building a computer vision company driven by AI. These Snap spectacles are really a Trojan horse. Remember our Greeks? The Trojans, what did they do? They built a Trojan horse to enter the city, and while the soldiers were sleeping, they crept out of the horse. And that's what happened with Snap. When you put Snap spectacles on, you didn't start recording photographs and movies of your daily lives. You started entering Snap's AI-driven ecosystem. And all of that data is going to be very, very useful for the future. What are you wearing now? Wearing earphones, maybe, when you're listening to music that's going wireless. Apple's AirPods are very, very cool. What would happen if you put a camera on the end of that earpod and you pointed it towards the direction of what you were looking at? What would happen then, ladies and gentlemen? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Well, some people are trying to start to think about what that might mean. This is still from the movie Her, where he walks around with his phone, which has a camera, and the camera and the OS can see what he sees and talks to him in his ear. Well, what's going on in Baidu? Baidu has an experimental project to do just that, with a camera attached to your earpiece. What are they going to use that for? Well, they want to get to the point where the camera can see what you see and talk to you at the same time. And this is fantastic if you're blind. It can help you cross the road. It can help you recognize objects. It can help you in your daily life. It can help you as a tourist, walking around Minsk. What the hell is that building? Oh, it's the National Library. Oh my God. What the heck is that? Woo! Somebody got a golf ball. What does that turn into now? Who's that? Come on, who's that? Huh? Is it Kendall? It's Kendall Jenner, isn't it? Kendall Jenner with the Pepsi advert, did you see that? Wasn't that stupid? Oh my God. Crazy. But Kendall teamed up with Will I Am, the producer, DJ, singer, songwriter, to produce these cute little earpieces. But these are really cool. Now, does that look cool? No. This looks cool. She's going to make you start to wear an AI in your ear, watching, listening, what you see, what you hear, and talking to you in your ear. She's going to make that cool. Because this is cool, isn't it? This is cool, isn't it? Thank you.